Hello, sports fans. James Williams here with another edition of the Sports Minded Show, giving you my quick thoughts on everything that happened with the TrailBlazers and Houston Rockets series. Just ended right now. Game 6 almost had a Game 7 to go along with the other. I believe we were at 5 Game 7s last time I checked, including the 3 tomorrow on Saturday. But this one almost made it number 6 if I remember correctly. But the Portland Trailblazers were at home and had different plans, and they want to take a nice little break as they prepare for, I believe it's either the Mavericks or the Spurs. I believe they're matching up with the winner of that series, which will be going to a Game 7 tomorrow. No, actually not tomorrow because they play today as well. So that goes back to giving the Trailblazers a little break. So they will have their game on Sunday, I believe. So with that being said, a small break for the Portland Trailblazers, who won their game. It came down to the final seconds. It looked like Damian Lillard had a rebound of some sort, but it was not reviewed or whatever the case may be. He wasn't set or whatever the dilemma was. Wasn't that big of a deal, obviously. I mean, it could have been somewhat of a game changer, but the refs didn't even bother to look at it. So, Houston's ball after they tried to tip it in, and things didn't go their way, but they did manage to get that call to work into their favor. Um, they ended up working in a shot, taking the lead, a 2-point lead. It was 98 to 86. It was about there was 15 seconds left. They narrowed it down to 0.9 seconds. Usually that would mean the end of a game, more or less. You know, you take the ball out real quick and try to shoot up a three, and that's exactly what the Trailblazers did, and it went in. Right at the buzzer, Damian Lillard lets go of the shot. I believe it's from Batum, who passed the ball to him. He turned around. He didn't even want to look. Damian Lillard takes the shot real quick, makes it in, gets the 3-point and the win. The crowd storms the court as if this was a college game, but you can't blame them because I believe it's the first series that Portland has won in the playoffs in over 14 years. So shout out to them for getting the job done and preventing one of the many Game 7s we are expected to see this weekend. So once again, the Trailblazers get the win over the Houston Rockets, 99 to 98. You do have multiple scorers in this game. LaMarcus Aldridge, Nicholas Batum with 40 minutes of play, 43 for Damian Lillard. Lillard had a total of 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 25 points, including that game-winning 3 right there at the end at the buzzer. You had LaMarcus Aldridge, who has been a key player for the Blazers all season long with 13 rebounds, 2 assists, and a total of 30 points. Led the game. No, he was the second highest scorer, leading scorer on the Blazers. The leading scorer of the game went to Houston Rockets guard James Harden, who played 42 minutes, and during those 42 minutes had a total of 4 steals, 6 assists, 4 rebounds. All 4 of those were defensive rebounds, and he had 34 points to lead all scorers in the game. And he combined with Dwight Howard for a total of, looks like 60 points. Yep, total of 60 points. 26 points for Dwight Howard. Um, Tough go for Dwight Howard, who left the Lakers to go to the Houston Rockets after one season, with the hopes of putting together some sort of a team, making a run, but they fall short. Chandler Parsons looked like he had the game winner there, but left that .9 seconds left on the clock, which proved to be enough for the Rockets to lose the game, more or less, when they let the ball get into the hands of Damian Lillard. So 42 minutes of play for Chandler Parsons, 9 rebounds on the defensive end, a total of 12 rebounds for the game, 3 assists for him, and 16 points, including the 2 that almost won the game. But like I said, Damian Lillard has really brought the team alive. Not only him, but everyone. LaMarcus Aldridge, Damian Lillard, Wesley Matthews, Robin Lopez, Nicholas Batum. They have Mo Williams on the bench, and so on and so on. These guys have brought Rip City, the city of Portland, to life after 14 years um, of lackluster performances, I guess you can say, more or less, in the playoffs. Um, when you think about it, too, I mean, Damian Lillard is in his second season, I believe, second season, and I mean, he can only get better. He's their franchise guy. I mean, when you just think about it, tons of good stuff there. LaMarcus Aldridge has been playing for a number of years, but I mean, I think he's still kind of right there in his prime. So they got a good thing going on. Like I said, they will probably be playing the winner of the Mavericks and Spurs, who also went into a game, who will be heading to a game 7. That game fell out of the favor of the Spurs. The Mavericks got the win today for them, and that was a 113-111 win for the Mavericks over the Spurs in the battle for Texas, more or less. Tim Duncan leading the way for the Spurs with 16 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 blocks. Monte Ellis was the lead man for the Dallas Mavericks with 29 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. Monte Ellis, nice to see him kind of doing his thing. Seemed to be an afterthought after leaving the Warriors. Lands on the Mavericks and is playing a key role for them. And then on the other side for the Spurs, you have consistent play. 16 points from Duncan, Kawhi Leonard with 12, 19 from Thiago Splitter, 22 points, the lead scorer, I believe. Yep, 22 points for Parker Danny Green with 17 points as well. So all 5 starters for the Spurs were in double figures. Not the same thing for the Mavericks. Dirk with 22. Sean Marion still in the league with 7 points, 6 points for Samuel Dallenberg, who they called around with 12. Totally forgot he was still even on the team. And Monte Ellis, like I said, with 29 points. So that kind of sums up that series. Well, at least tonight's game. Game 7 on the way. I believe that one will be played at the Spurs house. So with the series tied at 3-3, should be interesting to see how that one plays out. Will we see Tim Duncan and the Spurs go on to the next round? Will we see Dirk Nowitzki and the Dallas Mavericks move on to the next round? So that's something to keep an eye on. And also, a series that kind of almost seemed like it was an afterthought in a way. I kind of totally forgot about this series. The Brooklyn Nets get a game, get the victory. I believe they're playing at home. Yes, they were playing at home. Forced a game 7, which will be played on Sunday. The Nets defeat the Raptors 97-83. Nice to see Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett still doing their thing. 2 guys who came from the Celtics and joined the Nets this season. 13 points for Kevin Garnett, 12 for Paul Pierce. Nice to see them still scoring in double digits. Joe Johnson, 17 points. And then you have Darren Williams, the captain, more or less, with 23 points. I believe he sprained his ankle in this game. Wasn't sure. I was catching the highlights of that. Not sure, but I believe he did sprain his ankle. I'll keep you updated with that, but I don't think it was much of a factor. Afterwards, he stayed in the game either way, if that was the case. But when you look at the roster for the Toronto Raptors, I kind of forget who's even on that team. For $1 million on a game show, no way I would have gotten it right. Trying to guess who was on the starting 5 for the Raptors. They have Johnson, Terrence Ross, Jonas Vacco, whatever his name is. He's the center. I can't even say his name. And Kyle Lowry's on the team playing point guard with 11 points for him. And then DeMar DeRozan leading the way. He's a shooting guard for them with 28 points. 40 minutes to play for him. By far the guy who they more or less kept him on the court the whole time. 40 minutes. The next highest guy was Kyle Lowry, who had 38 points. But after that, your next guy is you have two people who had 26 minutes worth of play. So 40 minutes. They kept DeRozan on the court for quite a bit. Kyle Lowry was there just as long with 38 minutes. 40 minutes, 38 minutes for Kyle Lowry, and then there's a big drop off after that. So they were trying to keep fresh guys in more or less, but it kind of didn't work out for them against the veteran group of the Brooklyn Nets. So yeah, just kind of going off of that one. Should be interesting to see how that one goes. As the Paul Pierce KG experiment going along with Darren Williams and Joe Johnson. We'll see how that goes. It's kind of interesting to see how this is playing out for them, especially because they kind of almost had that feel of a not really a big three, but kind of working their way towards that with the pieces they were bringing in all at one time at the beginning of the season. That storm more or less kind of settled down after a while, but they did manage to make it into the playoffs and having a very good series with the Toronto Raptors. So this game will have a Game 7 and will be played in Toronto to kind of wrap up that series, and we'll see who goes on. I believe neither one of these teams have won a Game 7, so someone's going to be making history more or less for their franchise and win a Game 7. Who will it be? The home hosting, I guess you more or less, Houston, no, excuse me, not Houston, Toronto Raptors or the Brooklyn Nets. I think there's another series. No, 3 games. Yeah, 3 games with that. We had another series to review, but actually those are tomorrow's games. So I will probably be back with another recap of that. You got the Clippers and the Warriors. Oh, we're playing a Game 7. I'm trying to think off the top of my head without getting these wrong. Let's see. Let's take a look and see. I know the Clippers and the Warriors will be playing. The Pacers in Atlanta, and then you have the Grizzlies and the Thunder. Speaking of the Grizzlies will be without Zach Randolph, who was suspended 1 game after throwing a punch in Game 6. So the Grizzlies will be without him. Not a good way. Let's see what the mindset is, or let's see how it can easily be a blowout game for the Thunder. They could, and it's at OKC, and especially after all the drama more or less has taken place with the newspaper and KD and all that stuff. I think I'm gonna call it here. I think this will be a blowout victory, and the Oklahoma City Thunder will move on to the next round pretty easily. I'm trying to think and see if there's some other quick news. Mike Conley will play despite the hamstring strain. There's still word, I don't know if there was any official word on the status of Paul George, I believe, for the Pacers, who I guess stepped on the court when a scuffle was more or less taking place. He didn't get involved. He more or less didn't get past the 3-point line from his bench, but because of the way they've handled things in the past, even going that far will get you suspended if you're walking onto the court when you're not in the game. So coming off the bench, walking onto the court, even during a scuffle, it will get you. It'll get you fined if you're going on previous experiences, but with the new regime with Adam Silver and all, then we'll see where it goes. I haven't heard official word yet, but we'll see if the Pacers will be without Paul George. If they are, we may be seeing the same thing, especially the way the Pacers have been playing, very up and down over the last few games and whatnot, even the way they ended the season. And speaking on that for a minute, I think a lot of that goes to whether it makes sense or not. They really started playing bad when they got Andrew Bynum, and I don't even think he's been a big producer for them. So maybe, I don't know if he's bringing bad mojo, whatever the case may be, but I think they'll evaluate that situation. I know they only signed him for 1 year, so we'll see where that goes. And if he's a future piece for them or what they decide to do, I know they need to do something with Roy Hibbert, who hasn't been much of a factor at all on the offensive end. They really need to get him going and get his points as a bonus, more or less, to try and push this game and get into the next series, especially as the top seeded team in the East. So, with that being said, I encourage you guys to check out the mock draft I have made. It's posted on the website, sportsmindednews.com. Also, a quick NFL hit for you guys. Aldon Smith had his option picked up by the 49ers of San Francisco for 2015, I believe. So he will stay in San Francisco, and they still plan to kind of keep him around and do something with him. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out in the long run. But with that being said, and without all the rambling and whatnot going on, my name is James Williams. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I hope to hear what you guys think about the series so far, and stay tuned for more NFL draft coverage as it happens this upcoming Thursday right here on sportsmindednews.com. And also, don't forget to check out the YouTube channel and everything else going on for more videos such as this, or more podcasts such as this, more or less, covering the NBA, the NFL, and everything else going on in the sports world. So that being said, this time I am officially signing off. My name is James Williams. Thank you for listening.